Hi there, I'm Isanali Shaw, and you're watching me on YouTube and Facebook Live. Today and also in the group Love Virus of Gary Murk. And today we are going to talk about power of emotions, vulnerabilities of men, and the role of decision making, and how power of emotion and the vulnerabilities of men impact and they play a huge role in the decision making process. And to solve this mystery, they may seem unrelated, but they are very much interconnected. To solve the puzzle, my guest is Gary Moore.
And I think we're good. There. So, Asan may have frozen up again. We seem to be having some problems with connectivity tonight. So we'll see what's going on. But at the moment, just bear with us and we'll see if we can get it all coming back in smoothly. If not, I think this topic of vulnerability and sensitivity with majority of us men, for the most part, okay, and vulnerability of this emotional structure in this world today. How do we go about it? And I'm just going to load up a couple of things so that we can see and open comments.
Yes. Hi, Gary.
Good.
How are
Are
you?
we in?
Yes, we
Uh,
are in, and we are live
good.
for the past. I apologize to my audience that I've been having some internet disconnectivity. And I was thinking about canceling the show for tonight because of my problems. If
Right,
anything
right.
happens, any disconnectivity happen, and Gary is going to manage the show. So,
Leave it with me, will you? Okay. Well,
yes, of course. So,
well,
how
I'm
are
just
you,
watching to
Gary?
see. Well, let's see. It's been very cold here in Edmonton over the last about week, and maybe minus mid 20s, minus 30s, wind chill factors minus 40, minus 50. Uh,
Hmm.
you see, I'm dressed a little bit warmer. Okay,
Hmm.
but
I love
other
your
than that,
dress.
it's
I love your hat. I love your different colors, the green and the
the Gemini look, eh? A little bit different for tonight. I'm over here at Clarity, and the last couple of lives, in fact, all the lives we've done over here at Clarity, where one, I practice not just aromatherapy and phytotherapies, but energy work and healing works, and I get involved in doing a lot of things, like building this sacred altar that was built on love and emotion. And we're going to talk a little bit about emotion. And the new project that I'm getting involved in right now, just in the process of building it, and it's an extension of what we've already seen in this beautiful altar space with the crystals and the water and the waterfalls and the uh, it's just it's life, it's love, it's energy, and that's part of it. We have love with many things. In fact, energy exists in all life, not just humans. Energy in crystals, energy in the earth and the skies and the air that we breathe. It's also energy and emotion. And in a world where men are fighting with emotion because we've been taught not to be emotional, not to show emotion. Be strong, be resilient, don't show emotion, don't show a tear. We're seen as the underlings, the weaklings, if we are showing tears. And even growing up, when I'd show a tear, I got beat up because of it. But never stopped me from showing my emotions. In fact, that makes me this person, the strength that I have. I embrace emotion, even if it hurts at times. It's part of it. And part of the major portion of what men go through is this ability to not show emotion, yet it's burning on the inside. Something we need to say, something we're wanting to share, something we need to get off of our hearts. But we're in a world, in a consumerism, monetary system that doesn't allow it to happen. I've seen so many times throughout all of the choices that I've done in life, the careers, the paths that I've taken, where this buildup of emotion and not being able to release it ends up in this self-destruction, where many men have taken their lives. And it's not to say that, hey, we're at the highest of the suicide rates, but we're very high up on the scale because we don't know how to deal with this emotion, drama within us. There's a word we need to speak, but yet we can't. Because if we do, it's not accepted. It used to be. But more and more men are waking up to the fact that emotion is not something that makes us weak. It's actually something that can empower us. It allows us to understand our vulnerability, our sensitivities, our acts of kindness. Why do many men become aggressive? They don't know how to deal with emotion. We're looking for ways to deal with it, yet who's out there to support us? Psychologist? Nah, doesn't work. A psychiatrist? No, doesn't work at all. What works is men coming together and understanding that we're not alone and helping each other to work out through what is emotion. What is it to be sad and to be able to think about it rather than become angry about it? Yeah, we've been taught to be bullies in many ways. And in a world, we fight to be strong all the time. We show it by some of us building up muscular builds to show how strong we are. But you know something? A man can maybe lift 1,000 pounds and show physical strength, but to show emotion is stronger than any man that can lift a physical weight, because it shows that we can be human. We don't need to be always strong. We need to be able to show and embrace that we can be emotional beings. Why do we feel so wonderful when we're in the arms of a loved one? We're feeling emotion. We're feeling a caress that ignites a memory that goes back to our mothers that carried us, even in the wombs. We're born with emotion. We learn to speak with emotion until it's programmed that it's taken away. And in many of the world, this is what is in part in effect with many men. We don't have the capacity or the freedom to show emotion. So what do? We fight. We become angry. We become indifferent, insensitive. We're fighting to show emotion because it's within us, but we have no way to show it because it's never been taught to us. In fact, even today, we're like men like myself and other men are on this mission to help us understand what the power of emotion is and how we can use it wisely. Because if we don't use it, it destroys us. And then we don't have any wisdom from it. We end up being lost in it. And so how do we show this? How do we embrace it? Women show this to us, Hassan. Our mothers show this to us. A caring woman will always show us the power of what emotion is. In fact, they're much more stronger when it comes to the power of emotion. And yes, many ladies might disagree with me because they are more dramatic than us men, mainly because they're trying to get our attention. So in a way, the conflict arises through communication of a male and a female. The woman will become very dramatic in her approach, trying to get us to have an emotional response. And many of us pull back. But when we can let go of the emotion, there's less conflict, because now we're on equal playing grounds. And it's the same thing when it comes into business. How many times in business are we faced with a volatile situation of an aggressive manager or owner that is using the power of voice to belittle us and lower our vibration, this essence of this vibration of emotion? So this has been part of this program that many of us have been shown. If I look at my path and where I've been, I've always been sensitive, always been emotional. not in a sense where I'm dramatic. I mean, I don't walk down the street and stop in the midst of the street and start to cry. But I do embrace my emotions. If I see something that makes me feel joyous, I empower it. I take in as much of this joy as I can because it's empowering me. It's the same thing if I see somebody in a case of injusticeness. If somebody is being aggressive to another human, it strikes emotion in me. It strikes emotion for one to stand up and be strong and maybe intervene because nobody deserves to be emotionally degraded before anybody, no matter what. So whether it's in a professional relationship or whether it's in a personal relationship, this power of verbos becomes a weapon, and we can use it to emotionally manipulate. And many of us have learned emotion the wrong way. We've learned to use emotion to manipulate. So it's a call for attention. We scream, I'm hurt, or I'm going to hurt myself. This is a call for attention. So in this world where we're faced with a mask system, the viruses and all the things and all the hoopla that's going on along with it and the politics and everything, what is this core essence that we, not just as men, but as everybody, need to understand? And it's this power of emotion. Emotion brought together with another emotional being is an amplification. It's energy that amplifies. So if it's aggressive, it amplifies. If it's saddened, it also amplifies. Depending on where the structure, where we are with our emotions, we can allow amplification to be healing. That means that I have compassion with emotion because I can be sensitive to the other in need, male or female, regardless. This is this quest of finding this essence of oneness, of essence of balance of emotion, of body, of mind. Emotional intelligence, if you want to call it. How to use emotion rightly, not to use it to manipulate. As we become more sensitive or more awoken to spiritual beliefs and to the essence of spirit, we're finding out that emotion is part of the journey. It's not something to be afraid of. It's something to embrace, to allow it to empower us. Because when we can empower it, we can sense this power with emotion. If I'm in love with somebody or in love with something I'm doing, it's an emotional interaction. Passion comes alive. Creativity comes alive. Many things come alive. So power of emotion can be as destructive as it can be manipulative. But it can also be empowering, loving, compassionate, bringing peoples together. Because we can have emotion. We can show emotion. If I see a child in the strip of Gaza and is crying, or a child that's in the streets of Edmonton and is crying, it shouldn't affect me any differently. It's a child in need. It's a person. It's a human in need. It's emotion that's being shown. Doesn't matter what part of the world it is. It matters is that we can embrace emotion and show that by this unification that we can take emotion and turn it into something that's intelligently used. If I show love, I'm showing it without condition. I'm embracing it. I'm being willing towards it. If I'm showing sadness, it's because I need to emotionally release this sadness. Others that are emotionally open, they can amplify it where it becomes a healing experience between the two. Because we're on the same playing field. We're seeing that we both can have emotion. But it's to find the intelligence with it. If I look at how many will use emotion as a manipulative call for a call to action of help, such as the threat of suicide towards somebody who is being dramatic. The use of actions and words and emotion is just as powerful as any gun or any act of aggression outside of the verbal. It can destroy. Words can destroy. So emotion put behind word can be a magic spell. You can destroy or you can empower. Neither is inferior or superior to the other because they both have the same level of power. Which do we choose? And it seems like Asan is having technical difficulties. The internet is doing its hiccups. It is what it is. So I'm left to speak with you. And I will look and see if there's any comments. And if there are, I have a secondary screen just in case. Emotion. I can see where many of the people that I've interacted with in a multitude of ways, where emotion has become both a tool, but it's also become something that is to become more and more aware of as we're awakening. As people are more and more opening their eyes to what's going on in the world, we're seeing that there's a lot of emotion. Of course, there's children around the world that are hurting. There are humans around the world that are hurting. And you might be in isolation, but you know what? Your emotion is being felt through energy. Wow, Samantha, it's been a long time. Asan is having some difficulties, but we're talking about where this power of emotion has usage, where many are afraid of emotion. How many of us are in anxiety, panic, and dismay at the moment and holding emotion in? And we're expected to function, so to speak, in a lockdown system. Something over the last little while that I've been talking a great deal about is breath. How important it is. And it's just as important to use breath with emotion. If your breath is hyperventilating, chances are your emotion is probably pretty dramatic and pretty amplified. We slow it back, basically calling back to self. Breathe in the moment. Allow that emotion to be felt because it needs to be felt. But how do we show it? It's a whole other essence. So, my friend is back, Asan.
Yes.
We're having so much problem.
Yeah, I have been having so much problem, and I apologize. I think we have to cut down and reduce the time of our show because of
No
my
problem.
internet issue. And you're right. And what about there?
It seems to be some type of discussion. We're having technical difficulties. Some people can't comment. Some people can. Who knows what's going on with the internet tonight and the speed and the connections. So we've been managed to speak a little bit. And Asan is frozen up again. But I assure you he's well and living. I think, you know what? We're going to just end it where it is right now because the connections are having a problem. And as much as everybody's trying to connect in, we're going to reschedule this and we'll start it all over again.